those things are needed because sometimes it pushes kids, but not all kids learn that way. Not all kids can handle that. So as far as the role and the mindset, those are the two strong things I believe that it takes to be a coach.
That was a great explanation. And yes, I do agree with you, DJ, that coaches should be the person that if you're cloning yourself, but a better version of yourself. Um, I've had instances to where when I'm coaching a kid, whether they want to be a quarterback, a wide receiver, a running back, I didn't play any of those positions in high school. I was an O line, D line kind of guy, but I played enough backyard football to say, okay, I know what to do. I know how to get yardage. I know how to help my team win. So, Leon, going back to you, because I mentioned earlier that I want to come back to you. You mentioned that you coach racquetball, and it's actually called Racquetball Revival. So, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Racquetball Revival and like things that you see, things that you experience, and how do you coach the kids?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Anthony, for the opportunity to talk about Racquetball Revival. That is the name of our youth racquetball program in Baltimore. Our website is there on the screen, racquetballrevival.com. We have 71 kids, and each kid has a different story, a different reason that they're playing racquetball. Now, one of the things that we tell the parents and we tell our kids that we want them to have fun. I have on one of our racquetball shirts now, White Marsh Racquetball. That's the sponsoring county rec council who allows us to use the courts at the Northeast Regional Rec Center in Baltimore. On the back of my shirt, it says racquetball is fun. And that's the biggest thing we want our kids to do. We want them to have fun. Secondly, we want our kids to be safe. We want to teach them to play racquetball in a safe manner. When parents first find out we're teaching kids how to play racquetball, many parents say, "Oh, I don't want my kid to play." Like, what do you mean you don't want him to play? Yeah, I remember I played in college and I got hit. That's because no one taught you the right way. That's why. We teach them to wear eye guards, the tether around the wrist, and we teach them the proper way. But it's really not about racquetball. We could play racquetball for the rest of your life. I know some folks that are in their 90s that are still playing racquetball. The big thing for us is that we want kids to have fun and learn how to play a lifetime sport. We give them some opportunities for competition, our in-house tournaments, 3 or 4 times a year. We take them not too far away to Severna Park, Maryland, to play in events there. We don't push heavy travel, and racquetball is the only thing you have to do. But here's the thing that we're most proud of. We offer tutoring in English and math, and we have a counselor. We have two English tutors, a math tutor. Anthony, that's you. You're familiar with our program because you're our math tutor in our program, and we also offer counseling. We have we want to be able to help families and help kids in their entire life, not just racquetball. Now, however, don't get it misunderstood. Our kids are pretty good. We have some 6 and 7 year olds that hit the ball hard and they know how to play. And for our kids that are 14 and above, 6 of them in the last year at some point have been ranked in the top 30 in the adult division in the Maryland state rankings. So we're not talking about let's just come on out and play. Our kids get after it. We have some really, really, really good players also.
That is a great explanation, Leon. And yes, I am a math tutor for Racquetball Revival. And when the opportunity was presented to me, I actually wanted to get into physical education because I still want to be a teacher in the school system. But I've also signed up to be a math teacher. So doing the math tutoring, it's actually giving me a little bit of insight on how just on a minuscule scale on teaching kids. You have to hold them accountable because sometimes they forget to do their homework. Sometimes they'll make excuses on when not to come to class or come to the sessions. So you have to stay composed and say, okay, I'm not gonna give up on him. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
give up on her. I'm
that's
always
right.
gonna I'm always going to
Right.
be there for that person. If they
That's
ever
right.
have a question, I need to keep myself available. If they're not living up to my standards, if they're not living up to what I expect them to do, I'm not going to bash them for it. I'm going to let them make mistakes. But when they come back, I'm going to let them know, hey, you can't do this. So
And and
that's,
Anthony, also want to add, you are doing an outstanding job with the young man that you're working with. We can't say his name
mhm,
because of guidelines and all privacy guidelines, but
of course.
you are
Hey,
doing an outstanding job with him. And I think I told you, and I want to tell the audience that when we checked in with the school a couple of months ago, his math grade had increased, and they were like had improved, and they're like, oh, how does this? What are you doing? They're like, oh, I have a tutor through the racquetball program. Like, what? Through the racquetball program, a tutor? What? What's up with that? So thank you. You are doing an outstanding job with him. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. Hey, listen, to the person that he's talking about, I'm always gonna be here for you, dude. Anytime you ever have a math question, let me know. Just make sure it's not like calculus or above. I didn't take that in college. I didn't take calculus. If it's anything below calculus, I got you. But if it's calculus and up, calculus 1, 2, trigonometry, any of that, don't ask me. But moving on. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I do want to say that Leon, you did mention that in Racquetball Revival. What was it that you guys want to have fun? You guys want to emphasize the kids getting better and getting coached. But I work for a company, and I'm pretty sure my boss is listening to this, so I don't want to get this wrong. Um, I work for a company, Flagstar Football, and one thing or two things really that we always encourage in the kids every single time we do a promo day or any kind of practice, we always tell them make mistakes and get better. Some of the kids always say having fun is a rule. You can't really have fun as a rule. I don't know who told y'all that. But when I step onto the field, the one thing I always look for is mistakes. Because not every kid is perfect. DJ, you're not perfect. Leon's not perfect. Jasmine, Cole, Jay, they're not perfect. Everybody's going to make mistakes at some point. So that's the
Yeah.
one thing I look for because I want to see, okay, what am I working with? Because I'm not working with Calvin Johnson. I'm not working with Julio Jones. I'm not working with Jamal Charles. I'm not working for none of them. So when I see the mistakes, I always tell them if I'm talking to a receiver, hey, when you're a receiver, put the foot that you're most dominant, put that foot back. So that way, when you bend down and you lean forward, you can explode off of your back leg, and that would give you more explosiveness off the line. Now we do drills to help that kind of stuff out, but we also do more drills of catching, route running. I made a drill for my kids during the weekends, and where I have them hit certain gaps. Now there's no linemen in football or in flag football, but I have them say, "Hey, hit the outside gap, hit the inside gap, hit the inside left gap," and that's ABC for people who want to play tackle football. But I'll get into that later. But I have one more question for the fellas here today. Um, do you believe parents are way too invested in their kids playing sports? And when I say they're too invested, I mean when you see them yelling and screaming on the sidelines, when you see them kind of ripping them apart before, after the game, during the game, and how do you think parents should go about talking to their kids when they make a mistake, or should they say anything at all? DJ, let's start with you on this one.
Well, like you said, I mean, apart from it being invested as parents, I feel like in a parent's mindset, it's always their goal to see their kids strive and be the greatest. So if a father, for example, sees that his son loves the game of football, is passionate about it, wants to get into it to the point where now he's in his room on YouTube watching football drills, plays, he's working out like a football player. As a father, you're thinking, oh man, I got to get my kid on the football team with his school so this kid can strive. And you go to his first game and he doesn't play so hot. Oh man. So when you pull your kid to the side, you can get on your kid about certain things they didn't do, but I feel like as a parent you should do it in a way where they won't understand what you're saying. They don't feel too pressured, but also it motivates and it pushes them to continue to strive and not give up, because some kids have a tendency to give up fast on a dream before they even fully get their foot in the water. You know, you can't just dip your toe in the pool and never dive in. You'll never learn how to swim. You'll drown. You got to learn how to get in there and tread the water, pedal so that you won't drown. It's the same with the game of football, same with sports in general. You always want to push your kid to really get out there, really, and invest in yourself, because I also look at this as a self investment. Like, you're investing in yourself to see how much of your time, your skill, your effort can you put into something, so that for a fact that it's your passion. I always tell people, always push, 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 regardless of how hard things get. Because if it's something you really love to do, then put all the time, anytime you get, learn some new drills, learn a new strategy, learn just different kind of things. So parents being invested, yelling, routing at their kids, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, but it's all on how a parent does it. Because how a parent treats a kid is how a kid is going to perform out of school. How a father trains and pushes his son is going to determine what kind of son is going to be on the football field the next game. Is there going to be a dog, or is there going to be a beast? Is there going to be a guy that's just out there killing, running plays, blocking people, middle receiver, quarterback throwing plays, not missing nobody? You want to look at your son, look at your kid, and be like, you know what? If you're going to raise a beast, then that's what you got to do. If you want to raise someone that's like, only wants to do this position, do that. But however you want your kid to strive, and however that kid wants themselves to strive, that's what should be on both the mindsets. That should be the ultimate goal here.
That is a great answer right there, DJ. If you ask me, I do see parents getting a little bit too invested into their kids, because they see how much their kid wants to play in that sport, but I don't think they ever ask, do you want to play that sport professionally? Do you want to play in that sport in the long term? Is that what you want the career to be? What I only see in the youth sports. Sometimes I see in the high school sports too. But what I see in the youth sports is grown men, grown women yelling at children and saying, "You missed your block. You didn't run the right route. You didn't catch." You're putting way, way too much pressure on them for one mistake. Let them make mistakes. Let them learn what they're doing wrong. Now, I'm not saying don't be stern with them. But what I'm saying is, don't yell at your kids in front of 30, 50 other people. And now you're making them seem like, oh, well, I suck. And so if they don't come back, then whose fault is that? If your kid doesn't want to come back, then whose fault is that? Okay, so now,
Can I?
Leon, moving on. Go ahead, Leon.
Here's one thing that I want to add, that, and I've coached two sports primarily, basketball and racquetball. And what I've found in basketball is every parent, no matter how good they were, if they played it or not, they think they're a coach, and they start telling their kids what to do, how to do it, right? Racquetball is not an easy sport to play. When you look at it, oh, the ball's going to get hit to the front, it's going to bounce, I'm going to hit it back. It's not easy. Most of the parents of the kids that I coach have never played racquetball before. Most of them have never played. They can't even have a conversation about you didn't do. However, when I come off the court with a kid and I hear a parent say, "Oh, you should have got that one that went to the corner. You should have got that one." I say, "Do you play?" Usually the answer is no. And I go, this sport's pretty hard. I'll tell you what, here's some eye guards. You come on the court with me. Come on, let's go. And I get them on the court, and I give mom and dad simple shots, and they struggle to hit the ball if they hit it at all. They're huffing and puffing and sweating. And I say, "You see, mom, dad, this sport's not as easy as it looks, right? All right, good. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to walk outside the court, and you're going to say to little Johnny, little Susie, you did a good job. Okay. And I don't want to hear anything other than you did a good job come out of your mouth the next time you bring them here. Got it? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, good. Go. Love you. See you later." Right? Everybody thinks they know. They don't know. They don't know. And I think it comes from the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball mentality, where
Mm.
every Monday after a game, there's just all these talk shows and everybody's got their opinion, right? That's where I think it comes from. But I don't deal in that in racquetball. You a parent gonna run your mouth about a kid's not being good? Ooh, no, 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 no. We're gonna show you how hard that game is.
Yeah, trust me. I've seen a lot of things as I'm coaching, and even like siblings of the players that I coach. I'll ask them like, "Hey, you want to be the quarterback out there? Do you wanna like go on the line? Do you want to see how hard it is?" Like, Brian, I know how hard it is, but like I'm trying to play in high school. I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but these are little kids. I want you to whatever you're telling me, go tell them and see if they understand it. I'm talking about the understand of a child that's in first, second grade. Can you tell a child um the way you get open on a dig route is that you have to plant your foot at 5 steps and dig in? Tell me if a kid understands that. But the best thing a kid will understand is um, run straight forward and turn around or something. If I'm coaching my kids, right, I'm gonna give you a little bit of insight of how I coach. If I ever tell my kids do a go route, like do a go route, a streak, the same thing. I say count to two in your head and look back at me, but don't stop running. You want to keep running, but the minute you count two in your head or you hear the ref say two, look back at me and I'm gonna throw it. If I'm teaching a kid how to do a slant route, I'll say count 2 steps, 1, 2, and on that third step, when you take that third step, cut inside. And the minute you look at me, I'm throwing the ball at your chest. I'm not gonna throw it in front of you. I'm not gonna throw it on top of you. I'm gonna put it right there in your chest. You're gonna catch it, and you're gonna do what you do. But if a kid doesn't listen to me, and they're doing something completely different. If I tell them to do a go route and they don't move, if I tell them to do a slant route and they're over by the back of the end zone, I always tell them, hey, good job. I'm proud of you for trying, but let's go over where you were wrong. I know what you did right, and I love the enthusiasm. I love the bravado that you're giving me, but we have to go over what you did wrong. Okay? So one last question before we get up out of here. I want to get in the mindset of my guest for a second, and also the audience. Audience, if you ever want to join the conversation, you can join in the comment section below. And if you ever miss any previous episodes, like this recording, I'm gonna post this recording all over my social media so you can be able to see it later. But if you ever miss any previous shows, recordings, live shows, you can always go on to my Twitter. That's Big Dog Ant 4. That's Big DAWG Ant 4. I'm gonna also post some shorts on my Instagram. That's Clutchy Ant with 2 Y's. And I'm gonna also post on my LinkedIn and my YouTube. If you want to have any questions or any suggestions, any future shows, you can email me at anthonygreenfield9@gmail.com. So my last question, Leon and DJ, either of you can go first. If you had a son or a daughter, and they come up to you and they say, "Dad, I want to start a sport. I want to play basketball, football, soccer, tennis, whatever." What is the very first question that you are going to ask your child? DJ, let's start with you.
As a father, of course, I'm gonna say proud of you because, and it's not easy making those kind of decisions. It's kind of like when you want to decide what career path you want to do. It's very hard because there's so many things you can get into out in this world. So my son asks me or tells me, "Hey, Dad, I want to get into football." I'm firstly gonna say that's great. My first question is, what motivated you to get into the sport? What was your inspiration? Like, what sparked that flame in you to say, you know what, I want to kill it on the field? Matter of fact, I want to take it a step further. I want to kill it so bad on the field that one day I'm going to make it on the NFL team. When a kid tells me stuff like that as a parent, that automatically tells me, you know what, I'm going to invest everything I know about this sport, and as a father and as motivator, as a coach, to make sure my son accomplishes that goal. So as a father, as a parent, I'm gonna ask them, yeah, what got you into this? And on top of that, I would also ask them, how much willing are you going to be to get to that goal? What is your goal getting into football? What do you want? Where do you want to see yourself? Do you want to make it to professional football? Is this just something you want to do on the side? Do you really want to go full time with this, so it's a lifestyle? Those would be like the two main questions I ask, because I generally want to know, like, yo, what motivated you? What was going through your mind? And once I know that, then I'll ask, okay, but are you willing to put in the work to get to this point? Because a dream without work is simply just a thought. That's all it is. You just saying all these things, but you ain't willing to put in that work. You're not willing to put in that time, invest in it. Be on that field 5 in the morning running drills, catching and throwing the ball. So as a father, that's the main thing I would want to know. What got you into this, and are you willing to really put in that work? Because if you're willing to do it, then I'm gonna be willing to push you, to be on that sideline pushing you as a father, not getting in your face, getting all aggressive, blaming you for my life problems. No, no, no. I'm gonna push you. Like, we're gonna help each other, but ultimately the goal is to help you be a better version of yourself and accomplish that goal, that dream.
Great idea, DJ. It definitely sounds like if your child wants to play sports, then they'll be in good hands. Leon, talk to me. It's your turn. If your
All right.
child came up to you and said they want to join sports, what's the first question you're asking?
It's happened. I have two sons, right? And I've experienced this. And here's how I handled it. And I'll tell you some brief stories about both of them. Our older son, when I coached high school basketball, he went with me to every game. He went with me to camps, and he was a horrible basketball player. He was bad, but he loved being around the game. He loved it. And so much so that he became a manager of his high school team with a good friend of mine that was the head coach of the high school that he went to, and he had a great experience in sports, although he wasn't a good player. As a coach, I never forced him to play. Never did I say you have to play. He liked going with us. I never pushed it on him. Now, the sport that son became really good at, number two in the state, is in high school, was tennis. So we go and play tennis a couple of times, and he's hitting the ball backwards. He's not hit. Yeah, I'm talking. He's hitting it backwards, and he says to me, "I'm going to go out for the high school tennis team." I'm like, what? And I said, "Okay, good. Let's go. Go get it." He got better. He got better. He kept improving. He kept improving. We signed him up for private lessons. He kept improving. He kept improving. Became number two in the state. When he said he wanted to play tennis, I inside I said, "What? Him tennis?" But I said, "Okay, let's go. I hope you're successful at it." Our other son never showed an interest in sports.
Mm.
None. Never. None. No interest in sports. He goes to school, and the school that he went to from middle school and high school is combined grades 6 to 12. He goes to sixth grade. I go to pick him up one day from school. He says, don't pick me up tomorrow at 3:30. Why not? He says, I got football practice. Huh?
Yeah, wait,
He
huh?
ends up playing
Yeah.
all through high school, right? After football practice, right, when the football season ended, he said, yeah, I'm going to do wrestling. I'm going to be a wrestler. Huh? Why? Where's this coming from? Okay, great. Let's go. Wrestling camp. Great. Let's do it, right? Then after rugby, I want to play rugby.
Oh
So
yeah, he a
here's a kid
multi-sport athlete.
that goes from nothing to suddenly he's playing three sports. In rugby, I'm telling you, you're a little cuckoo to play rugby. You're missing something ain't right. You're out there tackling each other, and it's a my first time watching rugby. Two kids hit their heads together like this and fell backwards. I'm like, oh no, this is not the way to be. Now, let's continue on with that son. So where he used to do his homework, his computer, the lid, the top of his laptop faced me and my wife. So we assume he's doing homework, but we're like, why is he up till 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning doing homework? He wasn't. He was watching football film, right? The
He
coaches the
invested.
coaches told us
Oh,
he
I
Yeah.
lost
remember
more
times I
hours
used to do
watching
that.
film than anybody else on the team combined, right? He got into it. That was his thing. And I never said to them, "Oh, you got to go because I'm a racquetball coach. I'm a basketball coach." But they found their path and they both had fun doing it, had somewhat success in doing it. And that made me happy as a parent to see them happy at what they were doing.
Well, there was a great answers from both of you. I can say for me that if I had a son or a daughter and they came up to me and they said, "Dad, I want to play football. I want to play basketball. I want to do gymnastics," I would say, "Okay, so what thought got you in there?" I'm not gonna say no. I would never say no. I'm gonna say, "Hey, look,
Mhm.
let's try it out. If you're good, let's keep going. If you're not good, do you want to find a replacement? Do you want to find a substitute?" Because me personally, I don't want my kid to sit in the house all day. I don't want my kid messing up and saying, yeah, I'm just gonna stay in my room all day. I'm just gonna stay in the house. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna eat your food, take up your air, and just using up your water and electricity bill." No, you're not. You're just not doing that. You're gonna be at this house doing something. But I'm pretty sure a lot of my parents out there and a lot of people that grew up a certain way, they know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I would definitely let my son and my daughter make mistakes in asking, what do you want to do when it comes to playing sports? I'm not gonna be like one of those parents to say, you better do this right. You better do this right. No, I'm not doing that. I'm letting you make mistakes. If you want to run forward, let's say it's a son, right? If he gets the ball and he runs forward and he gets a flag for, right? Say he's playing flag football. If he does that, I'm like, all right, cool, good try. If it's my daughter and she's playing basketball, if she crosses up somebody but misses the shot, I'm like, hey, good move, but we're gonna work on the shot. We're gonna work on the finish. I love how you started. Now let's see how to finish. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
I I I
yeah. You know what I'm talking about. You know what it's
I
talking
I,
about. Hit
I
that, hit
gotta
him, and then just pull up that shot. Look, she will
I gotta share please. I gotta share these two stories with you. All right. So in high school, right? Um, at the end of the game, you know how teams intentionally foul you, right? And they get you on the foul line. So hopefully you miss your foul shot, right? And they get the ball. So I get intentionally fouled and I miss a foul shot. We lose the game. 2 days later, I get intentionally fouled. I miss a foul shot. We lose the game. It's like 15 degrees out. The outdoor courts are icy. My mom woke me up and said, "Come on, let's go. We're gonna go practice foul shots. We're going. We're going. You're not gonna sit up there and miss any more foul shots. Oh, we're going to practice." Like, Mom, no, it's 15. I don't care how cold it is. You're gonna learn to make these foul shots. You're making these foul
okay,
shots.
how
Come on,
cold
let's
it is.
go. I'll stand there and she didn't even know the terms, right? She's like, I'll stand there and grab the ball. I'll rebound it for you or whatever. She's like, come on. Oh, we getting up. We getting up, right? And I had to make, I don't know, maybe I had to make 25 shots or whatever it was, right? So the next game, right? I hear her go, come on, Lee. And she claps, right? They foul me. I get to the line. She goes, just like we practiced, let's go. Swish, swish, right? Now, the other one, I never played football. Never, never played football. Where I grew up, you had to be in an age and weight classification. So
Mhm.
if you were 10 and you weighed more than whatever, 100 pounds, you had to play with older kids. And my dad wanted me to play safely. Safely, not safety, safely. So he wouldn't let me play. So here I am in high school, my first day in high school, first day, and I'm lost. I don't know where room 323 is. I go up to this guy. I say, "Hey, man, excuse me. Can you tell me where room 323 is?" And he goes, "Where you been?" I said, "Yeah, I've been looking for room 323. You know, the bells rang now. I'm late." He goes, "No, where you been? We've been practicing for 3 weeks now." Like, basketball starts already? He goes, "No, man, football. Football." And he puts his arm around me. He puts his arm around me. I think
Why?
he's taking me to 323, right? No, he took me down to the football coaches meeting and goes, "Look what I found." And they're like, "Where you been? Where you been?" I'm like, "I don't play football. I don't play." And they go, "Oh, come on, you're gonna play." So the head coach, the guy's name is Hal Sparks, right?
Look at
His name
us.
is Hal Sparks. I saw him a couple years ago, and every time we see each other, we joke about this, right? He goes, "You looking for room 323?" I mean, we still it's on the front of our minds. He's like 90 something years old. Now check it out. So that day, he said to me, he goes, "What's your name?" I go, "Leon Thomas." Now I'm not thinking about it. He goes through the little paper list of students, right? He goes through the little paper list, and he says, "Is Clinton your father?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I know your dad. You go home and tell your dad you met me and you're going to play football starting tomorrow." I said, "All right." I go home. "Hey, Dad, I met Coach Sparks. I'm going to play football." And Pops is reading the paper. He goes, "Uh-huh, yeah." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I have to have cleats." He goes, "Come on, let's go get some cleats." We go get cleats. We come back. We have to put the uniforms on. I've never played football before. I don't know where to put the gear. I don't know how to put shoulder pads on. I know nothing. And we're doing a drill that I later find out is called an Oklahoma drill, where I have to fight off a block and make a tackle.
Oh,
This,
those are
this
the best ones. Oh, those
no,
are the best ones.
those things should be outlawed. That's my
I
experience. Those things
love
should be out of
Oklahoma.
here.
Listen, as an old lineman, I love Oklahoma drill.
Those things
And,
should be outlawed.
and when I
This
tell
little
you, they would say, Greenfield, get on the line. I would have a ball in my hand. The first thing I thought, I said, if I see you in front of me, you're done. You're
Anthony,
done.
this little kid had that mentality that you have. He was about, I don't know, 4'11" and maybe 90 pounds. He came up to me, bam, knocked me down, right? And everybody's going, whoo, whoo, whoo. They're all yelling and stuff.
Oh,
You've seen people go talk to the hand.
oh
I
yeah,
invented
yeah.
I invented that because I got up and said,
Fire.
"I'm not playing football anymore." And I went like this, and the coach is going, "Thomas, get back here." I got
Done.
changed. I got changed, called home. My mom answered the phone. I said, "Can you have dad come pick me up? I'm ready to go." She said, "He's already there, baby." I'm like, "But
Oh,
practice wasn't supposed to end for like another hour and a half." He's already there. My father was already waiting. And later on, as I got older, he said, "I knew you weren't going to like it, but it wasn't my job to tell you no, but I knew
Yeah,
it wasn't for you. I wanted you to try it. It wasn't
yes.
my job to tell you." He told
yeah,
me that and I got older. He said, "That's why I was there. I knew you weren't going to like it, but I didn't want to hinder you." So all the parents, you know, let the kid give it a try. So anyway, that's my story. No more stories for me. I'm done. I could go on forever. No more stories for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I was just ready to tell you that, Leon. We can all three of us can sit here for hours, days, and just go on about story for story, what happened in high school and rec league for us. But that is actually the end of the show. And I just want to say that there's a lot of madness out there. Hey, can I get my single shot, please? Can I get my single shot? I don't want these two. Get them up out of here. Thank you. So this is a mad world out here, and this is only one of the massive problems that you're going to see. Men's mental health is not talked about enough. Youth sports is getting out of control. There's a lot more problems going out in the world. But guess what? I will always be here to talk about it. If you want to talk about it too, then let me tell you how to. I will be posting this show on my Twitter on Big Dog Ant, Big DAWG Ant 4. I'll be posting some stuff on my Instagram, Clutchy Ant with 2 Ys. And if you ever want to have a suggestion, if you ever have a question that you want to ask, you can email me at anthonygreenfield9 at gmail.com. I will also put my YouTube I'm also streaming this on YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you ever want to join the comment section and join the conversation, you're free. You're free to. I've seen all the comments that came up. It's just Leon was talking and he had a funny story. I didn't want to interrupt him, but it's a mad world out there, and I want everybody to stay blessed, stay safe, stay passionate. I'll see you next week, guys.